Frustration once again, Stu. 1-1 this afternoon. That's 2 games, 2 draws this week, and 2 games where they had some really similar traits, didn't they? Some domination, not taking chances, and ultimately they've come away with not as much as they deserved or needed, probably.
Yeah, sums it up. Exactly the same against Cheltenham on Tuesday night. Ipswich utterly dominated the first half. A plethora of really good chances to score. Macaulay Bonds spurned the 2 big ones twice. He's got his head on the ball at the far post and put it the wrong side of that post into the side netting. Started the second half sloppily, as they did against Cheltenham. This time they were punished. Morecambe scored with their first shot on target, their only shot on target of the game. And yes, there was a bit of a grandstand finish, but for a long time it looked a bit huff and puff from Ipswich in response. And Burns finally squeezed one in the 87th minute. And they might have snatched it at the end when Janoy Danasi and I think chested the ball from close range towards goal. It hits the goalkeeper on the line and it finishes in a draw. And draws are just not good enough for Ipswich at the moment.
Yeah, I think you could see that once Burns had hit the net with his shot, you could see that there was no celebrating that, was there? It wasn't a late leveller
No.
in the sense of kind of celebrating with the fans and being joyous about it. It was, let's get the ball back to halfway, because we know this isn't enough. You'd have looked at these and thought 6 points would be really what you're looking for from Cheltenham and Morecambe. They've come away with 2, and the gap is now 5 with games in hand above. So it's a bit of a tough week, all in all.
Yeah, maybe in a few hours, days' time. I don't know how long it will take for us to go. Do you know what? They've really dominated 2 games. They're playing some good attacking football. Over time, that will translate to results. But right now, as we stand here, the feeling is just disappointment, deep disappointment and frustration that had they won 2 games that they really could and should have won, then we'd be thinking game on. Long trip back up to Lancashire for Fleetwood next weekend, then Lincoln at home, and then 3 big games against the teams sort of around them that they're vying for the top 6, and they might now go into those games at the end of the March not being in the position that they could be. But it's hard to know how to feel about these last two matches, really.
There's kind of 2 agendas at play, aren't there? There's the this season, the here and now, where quite frankly 2 points from these 2 games isn't enough. But anyone that's watched them in front of our eyes is a team that's getting there. Just because we're frustrated and disappointed with 2 results doesn't change kind of the feeling about what Kieran McKenna's doing. It's all very positive for the future. I put that to Sam Morsey a second ago. It feels like a kind of a positive steps being taken, but in terms of the short term, it feels quite negative. So there's kind of 2 different Ipswich Town agendas at play, both the short and the long term.
Yeah, different. Ultimately they've failed to beat Morecambe and Cheltenham over 4 games now, but these last 2 under McKenna feel very different to the drop points earlier in the campaign. You can see the improvements happening in front of your eyes in terms of the performances, and they look like a team with a plan now. It was just missing the goal today. On another day, Macaulay Bonds takes one of those chances. Norwood had one as well. There were others.
Yep.
Different game. Or Danasian's one goes in at the end, and we go away going, do you know what? They found a way and they won, and great spirit to go to the end. So I guess those feelings will come over time. Right now, it just feels like that momentum that was really starting to build after the win against Burton last weekend has kind of been dampened quite badly over the last few days, hasn't it? I guess we've got to talk about the chances today. It just feels like a striker in form is the missing ingredient at the moment. There's everything else. If you'd have had a Macaulay Bonds from the start of the season, putting the chances in, or Norwood around that sort of December time in that sort of run of form, then you'd have a great deal of belief. But none of them are in that vein of form at the moment, are they?
No, it's unthinkable, isn't it, really? If you cast back to September, or August, September, October, Macaulay Bonds is 1 in 20. It's crazy to think that's how his season's gone after that false start, like you say. Norwood's had his patch. Jackson's kind of coming back into the picture, and Joe Pigott didn't get on the pitch today. So, all in all, there's 4 strikers there that just aren't scoring goals. Someone's got to at some point. Sam Morsey needs to score a goal at some point as well. He's getting closer and closer to doing that. He had one clawed out the top corner by the goalkeeper down at that end down there, but it just wasn't to be. And like you say, we're back up here in a few days.
Back up to Fleetwood, yeah. I hope the pitch is a little better at Highbury next weekend than this one. That made conditions very, very difficult today. It was cutting up all over the place. It's a small, tight pitch here. Another little reminder of Ipswich Town sort of still being stuck at this level of English football, wasn't it, today, without being too disrespectful to our surroundings. But show goes on. We're back up in Lancashire next weekend.